deadly. Right, how's it going, everyone? It's Billy and Christy here. I want to thank you all for sending in your questions. We've picked 10 and we're going to get through them as quickly as we can. The first one, Christy, is from Nina Eves, and she wants to know which Aslan song has the most meaning to you and why.
There's a song we wrote a couple of years ago. It's on the Platinum album. It's called Broken Soul. Mm-hmm. And the reason that it meant so much is because it's kind of, at the time I was split up from Catherine because of the drugs. We'd split up and I was living kind of in people's flats and living on sofas and all. And that song was written around that time, and it was about that thing, and just, not being the person you thought you set out to be in life, and just that whole kind of the way my soul was broken at that time, kind of thing. So yeah, that's one that kind of
Okay, cool. We've only ever Aslan. I know you do it with Joe, but Aslan have only performed that song once in the Olympia. Once. Right. It's a great song. It's a great song. It's a good song.
I always should re-record it.
Yeah. Here's one from Christopher MacDonald. If you had to spend a day anywhere in Dublin outside of Finglas or Ballymun, where would it be?
Over in Marley Park, there's a little aviary, a bird aviary in the park, and during the summer over there is amazing. Just look. I'll tell you, the Dublin Zoo is an amazing place.
Yeah.
I love the zoo. I bet Jay Clayton's a mate of mine, so he always organises something special when we go over to the if I bring the grandkids over to the zoo. So it's cool. Yeah.
Speaking of the grandkids, have you got to see them? Have they come up and stood outside the house or anything?
Do I hear today? Yeah. Come up for breakfast because they've been isolating as well.
Yeah.
So I just let them come into the house because there was no need not to, because they're isolating. So they haven't been out.
From Ross McKiernan has sent in a question. What's the meaning behind the song "Gotta Make It"?
Right, Ross. It's basically about when we were starting off. Right, Charlie Moonhead is kind of touches on this subject. So when we were starting off, Billy and Tony Billy lives in Whitehall, but he also used to live in Ballymun, and Tony lived in Ballymun. So the amps and stuff were all kind of based in Ballymun. So myself and Joe would go down to Tony's gaff, and he'd have some of the gear there, and we'd throw it into shopping trolleys, and we had to wheel it up to the airport, to the pigsty where we used to rehearse. But as we were going to rehearse, and then another time we were doing a TV show and you were filming it in Ballymun Flats, there was this, those local heads, we all look at his wankers, you're never going to do that, and you think as they're rock stars and all this. And I could never understand why there was that begrudging attitude. If you're trying to do something, why kind of knock it? And I found that, when you're trying to do something a bit different, whether it's painting or writing or doing poetry, whatever it happens to be, you'll always get people calling you an idiot and you shouldn't be doing it. So Gotta Make It was to try and, it's about kind of getting through all that crap and just making your goal, making whatever your goal is, making that the prize and forgetting about all the fluff that happens around it. You just keep your eye on the prize. So that's kind of what Gotta Make It is about, Rory.
Yeah, very good. Here's one from Jimmy Coffey in Manchester. He wants to know, Christy, which Beatles song would you have liked to have written?
Eleanor Rigby, probably. And there's a few. To be honest with you, there's a lot of Beatles songs I'd like to write. But Eleanor Rigby was one. And, oh God, there's a few.
You've answered the question there, Eleanor Rigby. Here's one from Jay Keaton. Now, I know the answer to this. I'd be surprised if you don't say. What's the weirdest thing a fan has ever sent or given you?
Oh God.
Remember last year in the INEC in Killarney?
Yeah. we're down in the INEC. And this mate of mine that I know from Cork who breeds canaries, he came along with all these, they're called Gloucester canaries. And he had a beetle haircut. He arrives at the gig with four That was a bit of a strange.
You took them home with you in the car. I'll never forget it.
Hold on.
Have you got them? Have you got them there? Brilliant. Where are they? I see them. I see one on the right. Where's the one with the mad haircut?
I'll get them for you now. Hold
on. That's deadly.
Hold on, here we go.
So you still have them?
Look, can you see him?
No, where is he? Oh, yeah, go on, go down a bit. Yeah, I see the black head on him. Yeah, I see him. He has a Beatles head on him. Yeah, I see him.
Well, there they are,
that was, I think that's the weirdest present that anyone has ever given you. Straight after a gig, Christy arrives into the dressing room with three canaries, or 4 canaries.
The weirdest thing about it was trying to sneak them home in the car, because Catherine doesn't usually come to the gigs. But she came to that gig.
I remember.
I had to sneak them home in the car.
you were at the getting rid of your boards.
That's right. Yeah.
And then your man gave you 4 boards back then as well, and you still have them. At that class though.
He gave me 2 pairs, and I swapped 2 of the Gloucesters for the orange and the yellow canary, and I threw them into that cage, and they all bred. So about 2 months later, I had about 10 boards in them.
The board man of Ashington, Christy Dignam. Right, here's one for you, Christy, from Noel Henry. Christy, do you like poetry, and what's your favourite poem?
I do like poetry, yeah. I used to love that one, you know that one, I wandered lonely as a cloud, the daffodils.
Mm-hmm.
I used to like that poem. But yeah, I always like poetry. Different types of poetry. Some of it goes over my head, you know. But I like some poetry. Yeah.
I think like songwriting is poetry anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I always felt that when we wrote a song, you know, it was kind of a poem first, and you just try and put it to music then. But it is, in a sense, it is poetry.
Yeah. Like you look at a song like This Time, you know, drawing faces in a padded room with nothing but echoes of screams. You just speak that, and that's a poem in itself.
Yeah,
you know
poetry. I mean, what is poetry?
Yeah.
Poetry is it's descriptive, you know, and all our songs are very descriptive, and you know, in the way we kind of portray it. So I'd say, yeah. I was like poetry as a kid in school and stuff. It was always a thing I was into.
Cool. Here's one from Siobhan Billy Farrell, and she says, "What's the best thing about being in Aslan?"
The women. I know, I'm only messing. It's just like, you know, you've heard the saying, it's a cliche at this stage, that you never work a day in your life if you love your job. And that's the way it's been. Like, when I left school first, I worked on the St. Patrick, going from Rosslare to the Harve. And I was a galley boy. And basically, your job was everything and the lowest jobs on the boat. But my job used to be, a lot of the old kids used to be going on tours over to France and stuff. So when you'd have a bit of a rough sea, there'd be just puke all over the place. Right? You might have to run around with a bucket and a mop, whipping that all up, right?
Yeah.
That was one job I had. Another job I had was doing suspended ceilings in Crossroad, the RDS, in the AIB bank there. I worked there for about 4 years. But I remember it being so cold, I used to have to piss on my hands. Honest to God, to get the life back into it, it was that cold in the winter. That was another job. Then I had a job in Clare Wills. And so these were tough jobs. So then, I mean, I had a few decent jobs as well. But to do what we're doing for the last 40 years, it's amazing to be able to do something you love. And when you do a gig and you go out there, no matter how many times it happens, and you see the places full of people, and those people are appreciating something that you've worked so hard to produce, it's an amazing feeling. Yeah,
that's, for me, it's the gigs. Like, the gigs is like, it's, you know, there's something special about when we gig, you know, and it's just, it's,
you know, there's a lot of shit in the music business. There's a lot of shit you have to do. Like, if you do interviews on television and interviews on radio, and a lot of it is crap, and even recording can be a bit boring at times. So the only thing that makes all of that worthwhile is that at least you have 2 hours on the stage where it's just you and the audience, and you know, you can be anything you want to be. You can get an alter ego and just let it go. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. So yeah, absolutely, it'll be gigging for me.
Speaking of gigs, the first gig back is the 23rd of September in the Olympia, and then 2 days later it was rescheduled today. We're live at the Big Top in Limerick.
Yeah, that's
That's a Thursday and a Saturday. 2 good gigs to come back with.
That's hopefully everything is sorted by then, you know. Like, you don't know, because the way the thing is going at the moment, unless they get a vaccine or something like that, people aren't going to want to be in an enclosed space crowded in with people. They're going to be very dubious of being in that situation. Even if it is allowed, even if the government say, okay, you know, you can run gigs from now on. Because I have a feeling with this COVID thing that eventually it's going to arrive at a point, if nothing happens, say let's look at the worst case scenario, that they don't get a vaccine and they don't get a treatment for it, right? We cannot economically sustain what's been going on for the last 3 months, 2, 3. The country and the world cannot sustain that. You know, nobody's earning money. So the governments are giving everybody their COVID payments, but they're not getting any taxes in because people aren't working. They could not sustain that. So eventually it's going to arrive at a point where the government are going to have to say, listen, I'm sorry, this is going to cause a lot of lives, but we just have to open everything up again. And, you know, let the cards fall where they may, because we just can't. The world can't survive like this. And, you know, it's dreadful, because the situation I'm in personally, like, I'm terrified of it. Like, I fought cancer, I fought drug addiction, but this is something you just can't fight. You know what I mean? This is like it's not even a germ. At least a germ, you know what they're dealing with. But you know, a virus is like a piece. It's like a piece of information, and it's not a living thing. So, like, where bacteria can live and germs can live on different things, they need a host. They need something to live in. So it's not the actual coronavirus that's doing the damage. It's when the coronavirus gets into you. It's your body's reaction to it that does the damage. Yeah. And because my heart is compromised with the cancer and stuff, I'm terrified that, you know, that if I get this thing. But I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going, you know, even when everything, it'll never be the same again.
It won't be the same again.
Normal is going to be a new normal.
Yeah. Look, I haven't seen, my ma's 81 and she's cocooning, and she hasn't been out of the house, Christy, since March the 14th, right? Yeah. I haven't seen her since before March the 14th.
Well, I've been, apart from doing little things like in the garden last night, or, you know, I haven't been outside at all since the beginning of March. But the thing they are saying, like that, my dad is in a home, and he has dementia, so we're not allowed into him. He has the coronavirus. So we went up yesterday to see him, and we all went up and we stood outside the nursing home. Now we're all kind of scattered around, and he's waving out the window, and he's saying, "Why he's not coming in? He can't even understand."
Yeah.
It's awful, you know. And like the times when I was saying, like, because my dad has Alzheimer's now, and he hardly knows who he is or where he is. And I was thinking probably the best thing was for him to pass. I've been thinking this for the last while, you know, for him, because he'd hate to see himself in the situation he is now, wearing diapers and stuff like that. Yeah. But if he died now, in this situation, we wouldn't even be able to have a funeral for him.
That's
you know?
The thing, yeah.
It's fucking heartbreaking. And he's up there with COVID, and he doesn't know why we're not visiting him. And he's always on the phone, and he was saying, "Why is not coming up?" And I was saying, "Well, they're afraid we'll bring the flu in." He said, "Sure, you know," and he just doesn't understand. It's all. It's fucking.
Yeah. If you say COVID to him, he wouldn't understand what COVID is. What's COVID? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hasn't a clue. He can't put it together. And even if he did, 5 minutes later, that's gone out of his head.
I tell you, a big shout out to all the health workers and the work they're doing, Christy. Like, you know, you mentioned nappies and people, you know, that are not able to look after themselves. And the health workers, the nurses and doctors that are looking after them is unreal.
Not only the nurses and doctors, and I mean, absolutely, I agree with you 100%. The nurses and doctors and all the health workers are amazing. But all the policemen out there, the postmen, the people working in shops that are taking a risk, do you know what I mean? Like, they're all taking a risk for us, and they're amazing people. Like, for the last while, I was looking at this country, and I love being Irish, and I'm very proud to be Irish. And sometimes I used to look at the way the country has gone and the way the government used to be, and I'd be thinking, why am I proud to be part of this country? Because, sometimes the way the state... But at the moment, the way we've reacted to this virus on a governmental level and on a personal level is amazing. And it's really ironic that in a time where we're all separated, we seem to be closer. I met neighbours last night, and one neighbour called me, and she said, I'm living here 19 years. She said, and I've never spoke to you. She only lives like 2 doors up.
Yeah. So that's great.
There's all these connections getting made. And, then I'm looking at things like in Venice, with the dolphins coming through Venice, and the ozone layer in Australia starting to close. And there's some great things. There'll be great benefits of this, and hopefully we'll be able to acknowledge those benefits and keep working in that area, because we can't go back to the way it was. I'm not a big God person. I really don't believe in God. I'd love to. I used to look at my ma and the way they had that faith. Died, they were happy to die and all. And I'm terrified of dying because I know it's just over when you die. Anyway, not getting into that. The way this COVID is, it's like the world has stopped, I said, hold on a minute. We've sent you warning after warning and you just haven't heeded them. So now I'm putting a stop to this. Do you know what I mean? It's like Mother Nature has put a stop to the whole thing to say, listen, here's time to reflect and look at the ways have been running this world into the ground. This is not our world. We only have this for 50 or 60, 70 years, whatever we're alive. We have to leave it. Surely to God, my whole aim of being in earth is that I would leave something better for my children than what and that's not just your home and, leaving them a few bob. It's leaving a decent world for them to live in, and your grandchildren and their grandchildren. So, hopefully people take a mess. I don't like to pontificate and all. I feel like I'm pontificating now. I don't like kind of going and giving it the big one. But, it is something to think about.
Can I just, again, give a shout out? I know I keep bringing it up, but the third plane, U2's third consignment aeroplane landed today of PPI. That's 3 plane loads from China of PPI that U2 have paid. Stop giving them a hard time, everyone, please.
I understand that. U2 do so much good, and tries to do so much good, and the grief he gets, give him a break.
Give him a break,
U2, Conor McGregor has given a lot of money into PPEs, and I was reading the other day, Niall Horan from
One Direction
gave 100 grand to a loan, and there's a load of little things like that going on, and people doing charity things. Like we've got this single thing that we're doing, We Will Rise. And we have a load of people, different fans and stuff, all holding up little messages, and all the money generated is going to Temple Street Children's Hospital, and it's great. I love doing things like that. That it's worthwhile, and there's a lot of people out there now doing things like that. And that's all good, because we do need to take your foot, sometimes just take the foot off the accelerator. And we get so caught up with living and just getting on to the next thing and the next thing. And now all of a sudden, it's all stopped. It's everybody. I was looking at that thing last week, they done the 24-hour thing with Mick Jagger and all. And Mick Jagger and Elton John, they're all in the same position we're in.
Yeah.
How much money they have and how big that gaff is. People say, it's all right for them, they're living in a mansion. But you can only live in one fucking room. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter where you're living. Well, it matters where you're living if you're living in a complete piss hole or something. But in general, they're in the exact same position, and their wealth, all that means nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing the way this thing has turned around. It's going to be interesting to see how bands like that, like the Stones and Coldplay, how they plan their next world tour. Because, when is that going to happen? You know what I mean? It's and that's it. And for anybody out there who's not into the music business, it takes months and months to plan a tour. And a world tour would take a couple of years maybe to plan. So you know, they can't plan. It's even football. I mean, the whole football thing's up in the air. You know, Liverpool were on their way to winning the Premiership first time in 30 years, and it's stopped now. Celtic were 13 points ahead of Rangers.
I know. And Leeds were going to go up as well. Leeds, Alan will be chuffed. But it's all on hold, as you said, so nobody knows what's going on, you know.
You know, it's weird. I've looked at every newsreel at 6 o'clock every day. I've looked at the news from the day this started. And I don't know any more today. Having looked at all those newsreels, I don't know any more today than I did the first day. It's all just conjecture and people are guessing. And even the thing about the lockdown, you know, bringing the lockdown out, even that we don't know. Do you know what I mean? This is all guessing. It's all guesswork because this is unprecedented. It's never happened in the world before. So nobody knows what the future is going to hold in respect to this thing. So the whole thing is strange, you know. It's going to be weird. Like, I'm concerned. Like, you know, we've lived as a working band all of our lives. And the reason, apart from the fact that we love doing this, you know, going out there gigging is what pays our mortgages.
Yes.
And when we haven't been able to do that since the end of February. And God knows, it'll be probably at the earliest September-ish before we get back to this. Yeah. You know, even if that doesn't happen in September, God knows when we can get back to just earning money, you know.
Exactly, And,
you know, it's a very mercenary thing, but we have to pay bills.
That's it.
We have doctors' bills. Even with the thing with my illness.
So you're supposed to be going to the UK, aren't you, for your yearly checkup?
So the way my illness works is you have two types of proteins in your bone marrow. They're called free light chains. One's called kappa and one's called lambda. And when the kappa produces a protein, the lambda produces a protein. So the ratio is always 1-to-1. In my case, what happens is the kappa overproduces, where the ratio goes to 2-to-1, where the kappa is producing 3 for every 1 lambda. And those extra proteins are cancerous and are causing all the problems, right? So back in October, when I give bloods every couple of weeks, and they're sent to London and they send me back the results. So since October, my bloods have been going bogey. So I haven't had any results since November now. So from November, December, January, February, March, April. So for 5-6 months, I've had no results. In the meantime, I have no idea where the disease is.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Fucking terrifying. Yeah. And I was supposed to be going off to London on the 30th, which was the other day. Yeah. That would have got all my results and have known exactly where I stood. And they tell you what you have to do chemo again. I haven't a clue.
Right, you know? Okay. That's heavy. That's not good. And how are you feeling, Christy?
I feel great, you know, but you don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
This thing could be bleeding out away inside. You just don't know. Okay. So, anyway.
Okay, right. Well, that's it. I mean, there's no other questions there. Listen, I want to thank everyone for sending in the questions and for keeping in touch. Again, Christy mentioned it about the video we have up called We Will Rise, and everyone contributed to it, all the fans, and there's a few celebrities there as well. If you can, it's on our Facebook page. If you can donate, no matter how little, it doesn't matter how little it is, it all helps. It's for Temple Street Children's Hospital, which is a charity that's very close to our hearts. So till the next time, and hopefully we'll see you in September in the Olympia and then down in Limerick for the big top. Fingers crossed.
The reason that we do this for Temple Street Hospital is because of all the women we got pregnant over the years.
It's good you haven't lost your sense of humour anyway. Right, Christy, I love you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Yeah, look after yourself, Christy. Yeah.
Love to Jake
and your family as well. Right. Best wishes. Best wishes.